Hi everybody. I'm on the R3 bus from Maple Ridge to Coquitlam. Just coming back from my weekly Weight Watcher meeting, which was great, went really well. So I'm making these videos as part of a therapy to recover from the trauma, the profound trauma of watching my little brother, Paul Kierans, 64 with Down syndrome, be locked up by the BC New Democratic Party government for 588 days. Paul then had a stroke and died. I believe that they did medical assistance in dying on him. They removed all his medical supports when he was in the hospital, struggling to recover, and then administered a lethal dose of sedative. So that's the background. The BC New Democratic Party locked up my little brother when I complained to the RCMP about a secret power of attorney over my brother that his group home created to give him the COVID-19 shot, appointing my 82-year-old Catholic nun sister 4,000 kilometers away in Ontario as Paul's guardian. She had never spent a moment caring for him, never contributed a penny towards his support, and in my opinion is an evil doer. She's a bad person. But so I ran out of money to go to the trauma counseling prescribed by my family doctor. So I'm posting these videos as just to help you guys help me recover from the trauma, and it's working. So today I wanted to just post about kind of a funny thing. Oh, and I forgot to mention that my goal in terms of litigation and dealing with that is to change the legislation and statutes and regulations in Canada so that substitute decision makers, guardians, committees, conservators, etc., are not allowed to isolate and confine incapable adults from their other loved ones, which they often do out of spite, money problems, recrimination, family issues, etc. And that's what happened. My sister had, with whom I have never lived and who I don't know, had an axe to grind with me, or a bone to pick, or whatever you want, and she did it by isolating and confining my little brother away from me, which in my view, it was a form of torture, state-sponsored torture, to isolate and confine him. So I'm trying to change the law in Canada so that guardians or substitute decision makers of incapable adults cannot isolate and confine the incapable adult away from their other loved ones without due process. And that means a lawyer for the incapable adult and scientific evidence that it's in his or her best interest to do so. So this is based on the changes called Peter Falk's Law, F-A-L-K, Peter Falk's Law in the United States. Peter Falk was the actor who was the star of the Columbo series, the detective series, and he had a stroke in his 70s, and his second wife wouldn't allow his adult children to visit him, and isolated and confined him. They were never able to overturn that ruling or their decision, or the decision of the second wife, their stepmother. And so they spent all the money, all their inheritance, building up the Peter Falk Foundation to change the laws in 22 states so that guardians of incapable adults cannot isolate and confine the incapable adult away from their other loved ones. So there needs to be some serious adult guardianship reform in Canada. It's woefully inadequate, and it's a source of profound state-sponsored abuse, which is what happened to my poor little brother, who died alone among strangers, or was killed. I believe, as I said, that they did medical assistance in dying on him and killed him, took away his ventilator and administered a lethal dose of sedative to kill him. So I watched my little brother be killed before my very eyes. And if nothing else, the trauma that imposed on me was profound. So I'm trying to change the law. My sister's lawyer are dragging me into court next week for a 5-day hearing to have me declared a vexatious litigant, which will take away my own. They took away all my brother's civil rights and then killed him, and I believe they're bullying me to death. They're trying to take away my civil rights, and hoping that I will have a heart attack or die or something. And hopefully that won't happen. But what I wanted to talk about today was I got a new kitten about 3 weeks ago named Fleury, after Theo Fleury, the hockey player. And Fleury is smart as a whip. Like, I've never seen a cat so smart. He learned his name the first time. The first time I called him Fleury, he came. And he comes, no matter where he is hiding in the apartment, in my apartment, if I call Fleury, he comes right away. It's a tiny little cat, and he knows his name. But what I wanted to tell you guys about today is, I know I sound like a crazy cat lady, but he could see that I sleep under covers. So, when I'm sleeping, I have covers, I pull up covers and I'm under the covers. And his bed is a folded blanket on top of my freezer. And so what I noticed he started doing is he will slide under the folded blanket, between the folds, so he looks just like a person sleeping in bed under their covers. It's just the most adorable thing. Like, cats don't normally do that. They don't normally sleep under covers, but he looks just like a little human child under covers with his head sticking out. So they're proof that I'm a crazy cat lady. He's the most adorable. He's the most beautiful cat. I think he's what's the breed called Russian Blue. He's got this gorgeous coat, blue-gray coat with guard hairs sticking out. He's the most, and he's got like this human face. I'm not kidding. Like, he really is the most beautiful cat I've ever seen. The most beautiful kitten I've ever seen. And I think probably he is an authentic Russian Blue breed, but he's got a little white star on his chest, which would have made him imperfect. So the breeder probably donated him to the animal shelter, the Coquitlam Animal Shelter, where I got him. But anyway, so my video for today is about Fleury sleeping like a human baby under the covers. So I hope everyone is doing well. I'm going to try and get my 10,000 steps in today. I didn't get them in yesterday, and I feel like heck. I'm going to walk home from the Coquitlam Centre up Mariner Way to my apartment on top of Blue Mountain in Coquitlam. So we'll see how that goes. I love you all. Thank you for watching, and wish me well on Monday morning when my evil nun sister is going to be dragging me into court again. Her, in this abusive process. If anybody's a vexatious litigant, she is. But take care, everyone. Have a wonderful weekend. And this is a special shout out to Hussein Haski, who's watching. We're just going to be going over the Pitt River right now. I don't know if you can see it. That's the Pitt River. It's one of the biggest salmon rivers in the world. We're going over it right now. You can't see too much through the frosted windows, but that's it.